Wouldn't it be great if there were some easy ways for you to improve your pitch? Well, you're in luck, because today I'm going to give you 5 easy things you can do to instantly improve your pitch. And the great thing about all of these things that I'm going to show you today is that they really don't require any skill to do them. Anybody can do them. All you have to do is just follow along. So grab a pen, grab some paper, and let's get started. Hi, I'm Brett, and I've raised over $100 million in venture capital and private equity funding, and I've helped entrepreneurs like you raise over $300 million as well. I've been around a lot of fundraisings, I know what works, and I know what doesn't work. So let's go. The first thing you can do to improve your pitch is think about the first thing that you're going to say. Do you remember what Steve Jobs said when he introduced the iPhone? I do. He said, "I've been waiting for this day for 2.5 years," or something just like that. Actually, I think he said, "This is a day that I've been waiting for 2.5 years." That set the stage for everything that followed. He instantly had his audience's attention. And you know what? Those words weren't an accident. Jobs thought about what he was going to say. And I'm sure, knowing Steve Jobs and his legendary practice habits, which we're going to get to in a second, that those words, as I said, were not an accident. So think about your introduction. Think about what you're going to say when you start a pitch, because you may have the bullets lined up, you may have the pitch ready to go, but I'll bet you really haven't thought about what you're going to say. And usually it comes out something like this. Well, hi, I'm Brett. How are you? And the audience is lost. Those first 7 seconds that you have are the most important 7 seconds of a pitch. According to Malcolm Gladwell in his landmark book, Blink, you have 7 seconds to get your audience's attention. According to Microsoft, in a study they did, you maybe have 8 seconds. So pick your poison. You have a short amount of time to get your audience's attention. So make use of it. Think about those first words you're going to say. Try different things out. See what works. If you want something that's generic that'll work, say something like this. This is what I've used before, and it works really, really well. I am so excited to be here today with you. That'll work for any audience, but you can maybe come up with something better, just like Steve Jobs did. But you could use that one and it'll work quite well. But the point is, get your audience's attention quickly, engage with them quickly, and then everything else flows from there. Number 2 on our list of easy things you can do to improve your presentation. And this one anybody can do. Practice, practice, and practice some more. So let's go back to Steve Jobs. Jobs was legendary for his practice habits. It looked effortless when he was up there on stage, didn't it? But he practiced like a madman to make his presentations flow. If he had an hour presentation, he might practice that 100 times or maybe 200 times. That's how he got so good. You know, I'll tell you a personal story about this. Nothing to do with Steve Jobs, but just my own transformation in terms of how I prepared for presentations. I didn't think you had to prepare. You know, I thought, oh, you just put something down on slides and you just get up there and do it. Boy, what a fool I was. And then I fell flat on my face one day and bombed completely. And that's when I got religion and started practicing. And I would practice and practice and practice some more. And that's how you get better, is by repetition and practice. That's where you recognize what flows in your presentation and what doesn't flow in your presentation, where you need to work more on things, and maybe where you need to change things up is by practicing. So get in the habit of practicing. If you've got an hour presentation, I don't know whether you should do it 100 times like Jobs, but maybe at least 10 times. Practice that presentation maybe 10 times. What do you think? Can you do it? Yeah, because guess what? It doesn't require intellect, it just requires practice. So let's try that one. That's the first one to do, is practice after your introduction. Now we've gone to 2 things. Let's move on to item number 3 on the list. So again, a lot of the things I'm going to tell you about today are easy to do, and this one is super easy. Record your practice and watch the playback or listen to the playback at a minimum. This is such a powerful tool. And again, it doesn't require any effort. All you have to do is just click record, and there you go. And you'll see the areas where you know what you're doing, and you'll see the areas that need to improve when you watch the playback or listen to the playback. And you'll see how you're engaging with your audience. All of this makes a huge difference to you when you're in front of an audience and you're pitching. So try it. This is such a great tool. This is how I got a lot better at presenting, was by practicing and then listening to the playback and hearing where I wasn't making sense and I needed to add to my presentation to make it better, and I needed to change it up because you know what, I was falling on my face. So this is how you get a lot better, and you get a lot more comfortable, and you'll hear yourself. And if you're like me, you smile. It's like, wow, I'm doing really well in this area. And then you'll say to yourself, on the areas where you're not doing well, I need to improve there. So try that, add that to your arsenal. Record the presentations and listen and watch the playback if you're recording on video. Try it. It works really well. Okay, we're going to move on to number 4 on my list of easy things you can do to improve. This one is a great one. Again, this one's so easy. Time yourself. Just a watch, man. That's all you need to do here is just time yourself. Now, why is this important? Well, let's say you're pitching investors and you have a 1-hour meeting for investors. Well, should your presentation be an hour? No, it should not. It should be maybe 30 minutes. So let me give you my logic and reasoning for this. The reason for this is, let's say an investor is late. Doesn't happen? Of course it happens. People are late. Investors are late all the time to meetings. And do you think they're going to make it up on the other end? Maybe, but maybe not. So you give yourself 15 minutes of buffer time. That moves you now down to 45 minutes for your presentation. So maybe it should be 45 minutes. No. 15 minutes for Q&A. So now suddenly we're down to 30 minutes for your presentation. Now, how do you know if your presentation is 30 minutes or not? The only way you know is to actually time yourself. So while you're sitting there watching yourself on video and seeing how you're doing on video and observing all of this and watching the playback, watch the time too at the same time. You want to make sure you're fitting in that time window. So if it's an hour window that you have, 30 minutes for the pitch. Usually divide by 2 is the recipe for success. 30 minutes for a meeting and a pitch, maybe 15 minutes for the pitch. 7.5 minutes, of dealt in there for Q&A. You get the idea. Always do this. You'll have more time. You'll be relaxed. You won't be trying to go too fast, and you'll get everything in, because there's nothing worse than being in front of an audience and you run out of time. And it happens all the time. Be respectful of your audience. They'll appreciate it. Get done on time. Time yourself. It really helps. Again, these are so easy, aren't they? Number 4. That was number 4 on the list. Now we're moving on to the last one on the list. Number 5 on our list. Get to the point fast. Now, I've already talked about the importance of your beginning introduction and using the first 7 seconds to set the tone. That's critical, but beyond that, you have to tell people what you're doing incredibly quickly, because again, people don't have patience. So you have that first slide, or maybe first 2 slides, that's it, to explain what your company does, why you're significantly better than everybody else is, and how big the opportunity is if you're pitching to investors. That's it. Now you can do this in 2 different ways. You can do it just like I said, or you can do what's called a problem solution format, which is the one I prefer. Tell people what the problem is with the first slide, then tell people how you're going to solve it with the second slide. But get to the point quickly. Attention spans are short. So you use up all that capital that you earned at the beginning by getting people engaged if you don't follow it up quickly with what does your company do and why you're significantly better. That's all you have to do. So if you do it quickly and you tell people essentially in your summary, here's what our business is about, here's what we do, here's why we're better, here's how big the opportunity is. Essentially, you've told people the whole story very quickly and you've gotten to the point, and then the rest of the pitch is just gravy. That's just filling people in on all the other things that are important about why you can deliver on the promise you told people at the beginning of your pitch. So that's it. 5 things. You can do these things. They're easy to do. Anybody can do them. I don't care how much experience you have or how much experience you don't have. Anybody can do these 5 things that I've told you about. Try them. It'll work for you just like it did for me. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Have a great, great day.